It's a little windy up here. Happy No King's Day, everyone. Actually, every day is No King's Day, right? All right, here we go. How many roads must a man walk down before they call him a man? And how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times can a cannonball fly before it is forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Well, how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Yes, and how many eyes must one man have before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We all know the answer isn't really blowing in the wind. The answer is getting Donald Trump gone, out of office. All right, got two more songs for you. And this one I wrote to celebrate No Kings at our last rally. And I'm going to ask you to participate. You ready to participate? The revolution is not a spectator sport. All right, here we go. So when I'm going to say some words like in a poetry slam type deal, and then we're going to sing this. Okay. No kings, no kings, no kings, no kings. That's all you got to remember. You ready? Okay, here we go. Are you ready? 250 years ago, there was a king above and a people below. Then our founding fathers stood side by side and said, this kingly rule will not abide. This is our time. This is our land. This tyranny shall not stand. Forget the past. From this day hence, we the people declare our independence. You ready? No king, no king, no kings. Everybody, no king. If you believe it, sing it. No kings, no king, no king. Then with legendary sacrifice and courage, countless paid the price. But in the end, freedom would ring. We'd never again be ruled by a king. Having won our nation's revolution, it was time for them to write a new constitution. Their number one aim, to ensure one thing, that America would never, ever again have a king. And no king, no kings, yes, no kings, everybody, no king, come on, no king, no kings, yeah, no king, no king. And they thought, asking what can we do to make certain as we can that our aim is true. The best answer, they all agreed, would be split up the power of our nation equally in three. And no kings, no kings, everybody, no kings, no kings, come on, no kings, no kings, yes, no king, no king. In all of these years, their plan has been our guide. But now Trump and his minions want to cast it all aside. Throw out our Constitution and replace it with a crown. We must all stand together and sing in one voice, one sound. No kings, no kings, everybody. No kings, everyone, come on. No kings, yes. No kings, 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 no kings. One more time. No kings, yeah, no. No, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, one more tune, Sally, yeah? We have time or not? Yeah? One more tune, okay. All right, y'all. All right, you ready? You know the chorus to this song. We'll sing it together. I'll sing the verses. If you know those, sing them too. Here we go. Oops. Don't do that. You know, I don't memorize lyrics like I used to, folks. All right, here we go. Here we go. You ready? This land is your land, this smiling land, from the California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking on the ribbon of highway, I saw above me an endless skyway. I saw below me an endless valley. This land was made for you and me. Everybody sing now. This land is your land, this land is my land. From the California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. Everybody now. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. There was a big high wall that tried to stop me. Sign was painted, private property, but on the backside it didn't say nothing. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. No kings! Jimmy? Oh, yeah. I got it, Tim. Just taking care of a lot of things.
I want to welcome you all to No Kings 3 here in Fairfield, Iowa. This event has been put on by Jefferson County, Iowa Indivisibles. I am Cheryl. Okay, I'm going to try harder. Okay. You got it? Okay. So this event is put on by Jefferson County, Iowa Indivisibles. I am Cheryl Fusco Johnson. Other people on our leadership team are Holly Moore, Sally Hare, and Randy Dillon. Did I forget anybody? Ferguson does a lot to help us. He's pretty busy on city council though. Okay, I have some housekeeping notes. These are more complicated than it seems like they should be to me, but they won't be to you. If you look over here, we have porta potties this time. If you want to if you want to donate something for our fund to pay for our porta potties, there's a little jar over there at the table. There are a lot of people wearing safety vests. My vest indicates that I'm a volunteer with Indivisibles. We also have different volunteers wearing orange vests. The orange vests are our peacekeepers. So if anything comes up, we're not really expecting anything, but if somebody gets argumentative or you're uncomfortable, talk to one of our orange peacekeepers. They have all had training and they're ready to step in if we need any help. Let's have a hand for our peacekeepers. We have a lot of tables around the square. The most important one is the first aid table. It's right where this tree is, and we have some people with training. If you have or see anyone who needs some help, just let the people over here know, and I think they have maybe water also if you just need a drink. There's a lost and found table, I believe, over to my left. I guess you're right. Last year we had people reunited with their phone and their wallet, so if you find something, bring it over there. That's also our voter registration table. So if you need any information about how to register to vote, there is a primary coming up in June, and on that table you can get all the information about what the deadlines are if you want to do absentee voting. Just everything you need to know about deadlines and voting registration is over there. We also have a lot of community resource tables. So on this side of this walkway, we have Fairfield Cares. I believe there's also food donations over there. Who else is over there? Just give me a second here. Oh, but let me mention, there's also some really cool buttons on this table on this side. So if you're interested in one of these buttons or bumper stickers to keep No Kings in your mind, you can go over there for that also. At our community resource table, we have the Southeast Iowa Sierra Club, the Jefferson County Mental Health Alliance, Al-Anon, and there's packets of information from those people, so be sure to stop by that table. And over here, we have our community rapid response table. So that's off under the green tent. And that's the Everyone Belongs table. It's a place where you can learn more about defending immigrants from ICE should that problem arise here. Straight on it. Okay, sorry. Okay, the community rapid response table is to my left. You can get packets in English and Spanish. You can pick up a whistle. And they also have these really cool free hats that were made by the mother of the person running the booth. So stop over, see if they still have, I know right now they still have these free hats available. So you can stop over for that. Now my last announcement is, as Sally said, tonight at Golden Magnolia, Jonas Magrum and his friends will be doing a Best of Broadway and the Movies fundraiser for Golden Magnolia. And as many of you know, that's one of the soup kitchens here in Fairfield. There's a lot of other good stuff that happens there. Okay, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen. The next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to read you a letter from Adrian Longsdorf. But before that, I just want you to know there's going to be 8 speakers. After the speakers, there will be a march around the square, and at that time you still will be able to visit these tables. Okay, here we go. I'm hopeful. Many of you know Adrienne Logston. She grew up here in Fairfield. She was in my son's class, but 4 years ago, she and her family moved to St. Paul, and she now lives 5 minutes. Are we good? She now lives 5 minutes down the road from Minneapolis. The awful things we've seen in cell phone videos, Adrienne has seen firsthand. But she's seen good things too, and Adrienne has a message for us. In her own words, here's what Adrienne Logston wants us to know. Being a good neighbor is how we move forward. I believe, she says, the reason we as a city were able to resist with such unity is because of the many seeds of community that have been watered for years. A few personal examples. When I was sick last month, 2 neighbors offered to take my kids for the day, and a 3rd neighbor brought me soup. When the mosque down the street needed people outside standing guard, people just showed up. When my kids walk down to the corner store, they are welcomed by name and given homemade baklava. I think I had the name and phone number of 7 different neighbors before we'd even unpacked our moving truck. I believe the world starts at the smallest level. It may seem as though you have absolutely nothing in common with your neighbors, but you both need sidewalks shoveled. You both worry about your kids. You both have power outages. You both get sick. You both get flat tires. You both celebrate holidays. And this is Adrienne's advice, again in her words. Find a buddy, just one buddy to team up with and deliver food, or help with child care, or some other small act of nourishment for those around you. Find small, sustainable acts that feel manageable long term. It may not be convenient, but the next generation will feel the effects of this basic kindness, of being treated with respect and decency. Micro actions will lead to big change. I've now seen it firsthand. Plant the seeds. No act is too small. You can set the example of unconditional, radical unity, kindness, and decency in the face of fractured hatred and bitterness. To me, that is democracy. That is resistance from a government that relies on keeping us divided and angry. Mr. Rogers said, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." So that was Adrian's message to us. And tonight at 7:30, you'll find her, along with many other helpers, many distinguished performers at the Golden Magnolia Sanctuary, singing and playing in the Best of Broadway and the Movies concert to benefit the Golden Magnolia Sanctuary. So I'm going to turn the microphone over now to Casey Conrad. She's our MC for the day, and she'll introduce each of our speakers.
Hello, Patriots! Welcome to the revolution. I want to start by saying thank you to the Jefferson County Indivisible, our dear friends, for bringing this powerful event together one more time. And thank you all for showing up. Showing up is important, right? Because when people show up, things happen. When people show up, this means something. I'm holding this thing. I like to talk with two hands, so bear with me. It means people are paying attention, right? We're all paying attention. And this is where democracy has always begun. Not in golden ballrooms. Not in billionaire boardrooms. But right here with ordinary people deciding that they will no longer be spectators to their own history. Look around you. Every person here represents something powerful. Courage, community. This is what we see right here. And the simple, radical belief that this country belongs to all of us. This country belongs to the people. We, the people. Yes. Those three words were never meant to describe a perfect nation. They describe a nation that depends on participation. A nation that depends on people like you showing up. Because democracy rarely disappears in one dramatic moment. It fades when people get tired. It weakens when people disengage. It struggles when people start to believe that their voices do not matter. And yet, here you all are. Give yourselves a hand. The fact that all of you are here today says something really special. Hope is still stronger than fear. Community is still stronger than division. And civic courage is alive and well right here in rural Iowa. And to be clear, If we do not participate in the political process, we all become collateral damage to the decisions of those who do. Right. Democracy is not something we inherit. It's something we protect. Yeah. With our voices, with our presence, with our votes. So today, we show up. We stand here together today, unwilling to give up our voices. Because in America, we do not have kings. No kings. We have we the people. And today, this is what we the people looks like. Let's meet our amazing speakers. Okay, first up we have Julie Nelson. All of you are probably familiar with her beautiful posters. She's a fixture at most of our rallies, right? Mount Pleasant, Burlington, Fairfield. She's been to all of these No Kings, so bless your heart, Julie, you show up. Julie is originally from Lee County, where she attended Marquette High School in West Point. For the past 33 years, she's been a resident of Jefferson County, where she and her husband, Alan, hey Alan, they farm, they have a farm. She graduated from the Iowa State University with her degree in advertising design, which is a reason why she's so good at what she's doing with us posters now. Julie enjoys woodworking and making protest signs. She protests often in Fairfield, Mount Pleasant, and Burlington, and also occasionally in Washington. Wherever she goes, Julie's handmade rally signs are the envy of her fellow protesters. I can attest to that. Julie Nelson.
Hello and welcome everybody to No Kings 3.0. There's an old saying, you can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. Now is the time for America to wake up and quit being fooled. Today is day 432 of the second Trump administration. Trump promised to help the little guy, the working class, those who feel they've been left behind for far too long. He promised to end the war in Ukraine on day one and lower the high prices of gas, groceries, housing, and health care. Trump said he'd rid government of all its fraud, waste, and corruption. He promised to never get America into another foreign war and told his supporters that he'd make their lives so good they'd be tired of all the winning. By Trump's third month in office, Trump presented us with his Liberation Day tariffs. In a White House Rose Garden ceremony with his large poster listing every country on the globe, he presented a broad package of import duties ranging from 10 to 50% on every country, including those uninhabited by humans, just penguins. He claimed then, as he still does today, that those countries would pay the tariffs on the goods they export to the U.S. Tariffs never work that way. Tariffs have and always will be a consumer tax paid by the businesses that import those goods, and then often pass that tax on to we the consumers. Then the very next day, on April 3rd, Trump announced a 25% tariff on all imported automobiles. It was like an April Fool's Day joke. Those tariffs cost every American family on average $1,800 in higher prices last year. And they were found to be illegal by our Supreme Court just last month. We've watched the most inept, uneducated, inexperienced Trumpian lackeys, many of whom either worked on Trump's campaign or came from Fox News, to be appointed to his cabinet. For example, a Secretary of Education who was the executive director of professional wrestling. Then there's the Secretary of Defense, a former Fox News contributor who showed up drunk and late to work. And there are so many others. And now we're constantly hearing reports of Trump's lackeys spending tax dollars on things like, oh, you know, a $200 million video ad, private jets, special vehicles, and Secret Service detail for a girlfriend and her drunk friends. I'm sure we'll probably faint when we learn the totality of all the waste, abuse, and corruption of this administration. Our nation has never dealt with a government administration so embedded in scandals, cover-ups, defiance, and contempt for the rule of law. We are truly in a constitutional crisis when our own president and attorney general ignore court orders. We have watched the party in control of the entire trifecta ignore the norms, the laws, and the desires of the people, constantly relinquishing congressional powers to the executive branch, making Trump essentially a king. We are living under authoritarian dictatorship as long as Congress continues to be silent and unmoved. Luckily, our lower courts have been holding the line so far. We find ourselves in economic calamity, a reckless war with no explanation, no plan, and now Trump telling Congress that he will sign nothing into law until the Democrats help Republicans pass the SAVE Act, allowing the Republican Party to disenfranchise millions of legal voters in hopes of winning the midterms.
But we're not allowed to have. It is freedom.
As the conservative Republican former judge Michael Ludick said, enough. We are a nation of laws, not men.
Nation of fucking whores, man.
The crisis we face is not about red versus blue, but rather about right versus wrong, freedom versus suppression, and moral versus immoral. Let's not forget that Trump is the only president to be impeached twice, convicted and found guilty on 34 counts of felony crimes, adjudicated of rape, accused of an insurrection, to try and overturn a free and fair election, and stole top-secret documents that he then took to Mar-a-Lago and hid in places like his own bathroom, and then tried to cover up the crime. Trump has pardoned more criminals than any president likely ever. He pardoned all the January 6th insurrectionists, many white-collar criminals, and even the biggest cocaine trafficker in our nation's history. He has threatened to invade and occupy other countries with force if necessary, and he's now engaged us in a war in the Middle East with no clear mission, plan, or way out, all while destroying our economy and others for months and maybe years. Trump also continues his unlawful attacks in the directing of his DOJ to continuously go after his perceived enemies without legal cause. Not only has Trump not made American lives safer and more affordable, but just the opposite. The cost of living is going up weekly. Americans are losing jobs and health care.
Yes,
we've seen him trample on many of our constitutional rights. From our right to free speech, freedom of the press, due process,
years ago.
and the rights to control our own bodies.
Fucking lost
Let
all
me
this
hear it.
bullshit.
But nothing could be worse than our taxpayer dollars spent to hire untrained ICE agent thugs to kill us on our own streets.
So, what?
I ask you, why would any civilized person take orders from a narcissistic, pathological, lying, rapist, felon, draft dodging, demented old man? Seriously. In conclusion, the stakes couldn't be clearer. Democracy and the Constitution are on the line this year. Our very rights, freedoms, and rule of law are hanging by a thread. We know it sounds cliche, but this coming election truly is the most consequential in our lives. We must be clear-sighted, well-informed, and above all, we must let our voices and our votes be heard and counted. It's time we take our country back. The power is the people.
Thank you, Julie. I want to say something, folks. Everybody has the First Amendment right to free speech. No matter what it is they're saying, as long as they're saying it peacefully and with respect. Right? So, if there are other people who show up and they have differing opinions than most of us here, it's their right to speak them out loud. So let's keep that in mind. But they should still be respectful. Respect is important, right? Say whatever you want, but be respectful. Okay, our next speaker, Elizabeth Goisha. Elizabeth has touched many lives here in Fairfield and beyond. Known for unflagging energy, Elizabeth founded her company, Top Notch, 19 years ago. Top Notch currently employs about 20 people, and its trained staff works in a variety of settings, including office buildings, schools, universities, retail facilities, and medical offices. Well done. Services that Top Notch provides include residential and commercial cleaning, regular and deep cleaning, window and blind cleaning, construction cleanup, special event cleaning, and gardening. I need to call her. Elizabeth also has kept us happily fed via her Pollo Rico food truck. Let's welcome Elizabeth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I think she is right. Everybody can speak. Remember, we are in the nation we call freedom. Yes? Yes, be respectful is the most important thing. Well, I'm pretty honored to be here today to speak about who we are. And I'm from Mexico. I'm an immigrant that I came here 20 years ago. I started my business 19 years ago here in Fairfield. And I don't think I will go anywhere because I love Fairfield. So, thank you. So we are here, to express who we are. And I think American is built from people that comes from other countries. And probably mostly that we are here, we coming from different places, isn't it? Well, we are America, okay? And we do have the power to speak and to, go and fight for our rights. And freedom is the most important thing. We should fight for it. So no kings, yes? So we don't want no kings. We want to be the nature, like everybody want to come here because we will have a better future, better life, and we will give to our families what we cannot give where we coming from. So I came here 19 years ago, and I can tell you, we do not provide only services. We provide more than that. We are friends, we are mothers, we are people who help others. And we are part of our communities. So I want for all of you understand one thing. No matter where you come from, we are the same. We are one country. We are family. We are friends. And we should be put that tight together and don't let anybody destroy us. No. I don't care if you are white, if you're Mexican, if you're black, if you are whatever. That doesn't matter. We are one. And that's what we have to remember. So we should be put our feelings, our beliefs, apart, and just be respectful and just join what we can do. If we are together, we can be better. If we are separated, no good. No good. We need to be one, no matter what. No matter what we believe, we have to respect others, but we have to be one. So we come here to offer more than services, than just come and be here to work. No, we come to make better lives for everybody. For everybody. Yeah? So let's keep our faith. Let's keep our goals. Let's keep our families safe. And let's fight for what we believe is right. Don't let anybody turn you down and say no. In life, there is not impossibles. And I'm one of them. When I came here, I didn't speak English. I didn't belong to here. Everybody was telling me, Elizabeth, what you will do? And I'm saying, I don't know, but I will do something. I will do something. And now, 20 years later, thanks to so many people in our community, believe in us and give us the hand to grow and to show who we are. So, thanks to that, we are here. 20 years later, we have top-notch cleaning, top-notch moving, top-notch everything. I will put it that way. Because we do a little bit of everything. And we have Puerto Rico. We serve it our community. We serve it, around from here, from Iowa. And we are planning to keep going. Because there is no back. Only to go to the front. And the people who knows us, they know we do more than what we can say. We help our communities as much we can. And we want people that come here, to do that, because we all need each other. That's it. We all need each other. Remember, we all need each other, and we are here to support each other. So we are America. We are America, remember. And we want to keep living in America, the free country the country we want to raise our children and show them that everything is possible. So, no kings, yes? So let's keep fighting for that. Come on. So, thank you, everybody. Enjoy.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I want to say something that she brought up because I think this is a mantra for the times. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. We should all write that down in the palms of our hands so we remember it. Our next speaker is Holden Hagerman. He's an activist, an artist, originally from Minneapolis, now living here in Fairfield. Living in Minneapolis in 2020, Holden became directly involved in community liberation efforts. Community liberation efforts, I love the sound of that. By necessity during the George Floyd uprisings. Since then, he's remained a staunch advocate for the liberation of all marginalized working class people. You can find him here in town helping to organize local activists as well as our local music scene. Recently, he spent time in Minneapolis again during the ongoing federal occupation and is here now to share some of his experience. Let's give it up for Holden.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope we're all feeling good. It's a little breezy out here, but we made it. Thank you. Sounds good. My name's Holden. I have been living here in Fairfield for the last 2.5 years. I moved, like she said, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I want to talk a little bit about this federal occupation in Minneapolis. A little feedback? Okay. Because this isn't without precedent, both in the way that the community responded, but as well as the way that the government chose this as where they'd fight their battle. The working class people of Minneapolis have been in an ongoing power struggle against the state for a very long time. George Floyd didn't come from nowhere. We have cases like Jamar Clark and Philando Castile that have pushed racial tensions in Minneapolis to the brink, leading to things like the occupation of the 2nd Precinct. And 2020, the lynching of George Floyd was the example of the complete breach of the social contract between the state and the community. And I'll tell you right now, I watched that precinct burn with my own eyes. I have been face to face this year with federal agents, including the night of the shooting of Julio Sosa Celes, where they unleashed tsunamis of tear gas in residential neighborhoods, deeply black neighborhoods. And this wanton violence continues. And as much as people have organized, as much as people have resisted, not a lot has changed. And why is this? Because workers, labor, holds all power, but we have to organize in order to take it back. The moment that we all stop is the moment that none of this bullshit can continue, because we as workers, as the working class, have all of the power. We just have to take it. So I want to put out a call out right now. We need to abolish ICE. This agency has existed for 23 years, and this country has existed for 227 years without it, and we will be just fine without this agency, because this social contract has been shredded. There is no way that they can ever come back from all of the horrible crimes against humanity that they are continuing to commit. whether it is in detention centers, where we see the deaths of people like Parity Law, or in the streets where we see the deaths of Keith Porter Jr., the shooting of Julio Sosa Celes, Renee Good, Alex Preddy. The names continue to build, and these agents, whether they're Border Patrol, whether they're ICE, they all need to go. And the people that are in charge need to go too, whether it's Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump. They all need to be impeached, prosecuted, and put in a cell so that they can atone for the crimes that they are committing against us right now. And I want to speak for a moment about the case in Prairie Land, Texas, because if you don't know about this case, you need to. Activists, protesters who were present at a protest where someone not involved with them shot at police have recently been not just charged, but convicted of terrorism. One of them, their crime, moving literature into a house. They moved a box of zines from one house to another, and they've been convicted of terrorism. And I want to think about that word for just a moment, terrorism. We need to consider that that word has no clear definition. There is no clear meaning. Was Nelson Mandela a terrorist? Or is terrorism a word that people in power can use to garner sympathy for their bullshit and unjust causes, to oppress working people like you or me? And before I part ways with you all here, I want to put out a challenge. Protests like this are great to bring people together. But if you think that this is the end-all be-all to resistance, you need to consider what that really means. Who are we affecting here? What are we disrupting in this very moment? It's great that we're here, but the wheels of capital continue to turn in spite of these protests. So my challenge to you, rather than going home and thinking that just being present here today created change, I want you to go and find someone that you don't know at all, that you've never met, a stranger. And I want you to connect with them. I want you to get their contact information. And I want you to set a time and a place that you know damn well that you can make it to, that you can go and connect with them after this. Because this is organizing. This is building community. If we just come here and yell at empty buildings, we're not doing anything. But if we use this as a moment to network and connect with people of like mind, then we can actually start to build real solidarity so that we can fight for liberation. And I'll repeat right now, labor holds all power. The moment that we stop working is the moment that all of this ends. So I'll say this now. All power to all people, no war but class war. And if you have thoughts about what I've said here today, if you would like to continue a conversation, I invite any one of you here to come and chat with me, whether it's something that you felt challenged you or something that you'd like to dive deeper into. I'm an open book and an open resource. Anything that I know, I'm happy to teach. All power to all people. Thank you.
Who's fired up?
Oh, thank you.
Are we good? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That was such inspiring, so many inspiring words, yes? Again, do something. These are the starts. These are the seeds that we're planting now. What are we trying to grow? What are we trying to grow with these? Yes, freedom. Getting back our democracy. Holding on to our rights so our children and our children's children can hold events just like this in safety. Our next speaker, John McCurley. He holds a PhD in history from the University of Iowa. He's researched and taught university courses on labor, civil and human rights issues. He's a former member of Fairfield High School Board. John served as a historian at the University of Iowa Labor Center from 2013 to 2023. He's written and edited a number of scholarly works detailing working class history. There's a theme here. His awards include 2 fellowships from the American Folklife Center at the Library of Congress. Very well done. John currently serves as Ottumwa Regional Director of UNISERV staff for the Iowa State Education Association. John?
Hello, everyone. So, I'm the guy who's employed by the labor movement, but I could not do a better job than Holden, right? What we have, yeah. Well, this is incredibly important, right? I mean, one of the things that I have studied is the generational change in movements, and well, one of the beautiful things about what we have here is that it is a multi-generational movement that we are engaged in. And one of the reasons it is so powerful is not just because of the experience of the people who have been engaged in multiple movements over time, over many decades, but is the fact that we have younger folks, right, who are also part of the movement, who are seeing how much things don't work for them, how broken in many ways systems are, and promises unmet. And what that creates is, I think, a real possibility for real fundamental and systemic change, the kind that we need, the kind that resulted in, frankly, the Trump presidency. And if we're going to get out of this mess, we're going to need multi-generational change, and we're going to need systemic change. And I think that's exactly what Holden's pointing towards. So again, but let me bring you back to the institutional labor movement, which is the thing that I've spent most of my life studying and working in. Because I've said this before when I've been up here in front of y'all, but what I think is beautiful about the institutional labor movement is that it is democracy happening on an everyday level. So right now, as we speak, this is contract bargaining time. So this means that there are little fights, little dramas, little acts of democracy happening everywhere around us, because teachers, support staff, county road crews, they are bargaining contracts in places, and again, I know that we're in a variety of different places where we have wonderful business owners here, but where work is not necessarily a place where oftentimes we find we don't oftentimes find freedom. And as a result, people have to come together in order to try to claim democracy in those spaces. That is what the labor movement is for. And so what that means is that we have, just as we have here, a giant movement to reclaim democracy on the national level, the labor movement is small versions of that fight happening in workplaces all around us. And it's a practice ground for this kind of work, right? And so what I want to remind us, the way I want to connect these two things, is that not only am I sure that we have amongst this crowd, as we have always had, members of the labor movement who bring that experience with them from fighting those fights every day in their workplaces into the larger fight. But what we need, especially now, because the institutional labor movement is profoundly small, smaller than it has ever been since the Great Depression. 5% approximately of workers in the country as a whole are in unions. So only 5% of you likely have had that experience of fighting those daily battles for democracy in your workplaces. And I suspect that there's plenty of you who, because of the lack of experience, are suspicious. I mean, let's just talk. We are here to talk truth, folks, right? And so what that means is that, exactly, we need to bridge those things. We need the folks who have had those experiences fighting in the front lines every day to be engaged in these fights, and we need the folks who have never experienced the labor movement to get engaged themselves and or to fight with and alongside those folks who are doing those daily workplace battles. Because it's only through connecting those two things that we are going to be able to get ourselves out of this, right? Like I say, Trump is the union buster in chief, right? He says, all you need is me. He says, you do not need democracy. You do not need democracy in your workplace. You do not need democracy anywhere. All you need is me as your triumphant leader who will smash your enemies. That's what he says, right? Instead, we need democracy everywhere. The antidote to this moment that we are in is democracy everywhere, right? And so what that's going to mean, like as I say, is that we are going to have to do that work, flex those muscles, find every democratic institution that we have and build some new ones to get ourselves out of here. So again, just to echo Holden, echo all the speakers today. Are we committed? Is everyone here committed to doing that? All right. And with that though, I'm gonna let you go. And like I say, that's what we're gonna need to get ourselves out of here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Labor unions built our democracy, right? They built our middle class. And now that we don't have as many labor unions and they're not as strong, we're losing our middle class. That's a simple equation, right? So our next speaker is a dear friend of mine, also a wonderful resource for me. His name is Mike Heaton. A lot of you probably know Mike. He's from Mount Pleasant. Mike is a community leader, media producer, and rural advocate based here in Southeast Iowa. After 20 years of working in politics, international development, education, Mike co-founded HedgePost, a media company focused on connecting communities through local storytelling, events, and civil engagement. Mike is also a co-host of the 3 Rural White Guys podcast. Shout out. Woo! Who loves this podcast? If you haven't listened to it, you need to. It's amazing. Here he brings a candid rural perspective to politics and culture. Through his work with nonprofit and media initiatives, he is committed to strengthening democratic participation, amplifying local voices, and building more inclusive communities. Mike Heaton.
Perfect. All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing today? So I'm going to focus on a little bit of a toolkit today, okay? So one of the things we need to be able to recognize, especially here in rural Iowa and rural America, is when people are using a political strategy against us. The concept is called anecdotal fallacy. It's when you take the story of a single person and you apply it falsely to an entire group in order to demean them. We've all seen it, we know what it is. We're going to talk about it a little bit. One of the groups that does that, actually before I even do that, I'm going to say one observation we need to make is 99% of our world, the people in our world, in our country, in the state of Iowa, and here in Southeast Iowa in our rural communities, the vast majority of us are good people. They care about their families. They care about their community. And these are people that vote on all sides. There are families, and we have to recognize that first before we have any other conversations going forward. Once we know that, it enables us to identify anecdotal fallacy. There's a group in Washington, D.C. called TABS, T-A-B-S. It's called the American Border Story. They push themselves out there as if they're a news organization. They're not. They're a propaganda machine. Their only job is to show that immigrants are the villain. That's their role, and they have millions of dollars behind them to convince people that immigrants are the villain. They use a tactic called anecdotal fallacy. This tactic, everybody wondering why I'm holding a big jar of rice. This tactic goes like this. This jar of rice has about 16,000 grains of rice in it. 16,000. That represents the number of murders that happened in the United States last year. What this group does is they open up this jar and they start sifting through. I'm not going to open it here because I'll probably spill it everywhere. But they start sifting through all of the rice until they find that one grain, that one murder amongst 16,000 that's done by their target group. An immigrant who's undocumented, who's a man, who maybe has a background of crime, who's from, let's say, Venezuela, because that's one of the countries that's in the news right now, right? They look at what the actual crime was, how they committed the murder, what kind of assault was. Oh, it's against a 13-year-old white girl in rural Georgia. How convenient, it's a swing state. And they take that story, and by the way, that guy's bad. I'm not calling him good. What he did, he deserves to go to court for and deserves to be punished for. But he does not represent all of immigrants. And they take that one story and they put millions of dollars behind that one story. Millions of dollars. They make documentaries. They put talking points together for pundits. They send messages to churches to have them teach about this one young girl whose life was taken from her. They interview the parents, as you can imagine, emotionally, how hard that is to have that happen to your child. And what they do is they create fear, that emotion that causes people to take complex issues that we can normally reason through, and because we get that fight or flight response, we narrow it down to make it a single villain. And that is their goal. We've all seen it. We see it with our politicians today. By the way, both parties engage in it, and we think we know that. Some do it a little more than others. But we need to recognize it because it's especially prominent here in our rural communities. When you talk about issues, the counter is always those individual stories. We've all seen it. We've all seen it online. When we get into debates and conversations, they counter with those stories. So when we recognize it, we have to counter it. And the great news about all of this is we have the tools to counter it. It's really easy to counter it. We start by telling the stories of our community. The only more powerful emotion than fear, as we all know, is love, right? Love is the only power. She held up the sign right as I said it, right there. That's the only one. And you find love in your community, in your neighbors, in your families. And when we tell their stories of our own community members who are immigrants, who are LGBTQ+, those narratives counter that fallacy, and we can fight against it. And so that's what I'm going to say today, is I need you all to start telling those stories too. Just tell the positive stories. Talk about Elizabeth and hearing her speak today, and that immigrant story. It was incredible, right? We all are online. I'm sure I've seen most of your posts online at some point. We are definitely pointing out the negative all the time because there's lots of negative, and we should not stop pointing out the negative. You cannot let bad actions go untalked about and uncountered. But we have to talk about the positive too. For example, we're about to close a school in Salem. It is devastating in our rural county. It's devastating to that town. We don't want to see that close, but our legislators keep defunding us and taking away our public school funding. if we have people always talking about how amazing public school is, all the amazing things our teachers are doing instead of only the negative, it gets a heck of a lot harder for our state representatives to defund our schools. That's our mission, that's our goal. So I'm not gonna be one of those people that tell you what to do. We're gonna do it right now, okay? I'm gonna record a little video here, and when I point at you guys, I need you to cheer as loud as you can. Does that work? All right, and I'll post it online. I hope you guys all do a similar thing today, all right? All right, hey everybody, I'm here at the No Kings Rally in Fairfield, Iowa. I am here with some of the most incredible people who care about their community. They care about their schools, they care about their LGBTQ plus members in our community, they care about the immigrants in our community, because we know we all bring value, we all bring a positive piece to our communities, and I cannot tell you how happy I am to be here with so many great friends. So I want to introduce you to them all. Here you go, everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mike. 3 rural white guys. Look it up. Our next speaker's name is Sue Dinsdale. She's the executive director of Iowa Citizen Action Network, or ICANN. ICANN is a grassroots public interest organization committed to creating social change in Iowa and across the nation. ICANN has united Iowa's progressives for nearly 50 years and is leading efforts to change the public climate for progressive change. ICANN works in coalition with organizational affiliates from a wide range of constituencies, including labor, small business, seniors, family farmers, and environmental organizations, as well as with our thousands of individual members. Let's welcome Sue.
Well, thank you, everyone. Here's a fun fact. I lived in Fairfield back in like 1968, I think. I was in 4th or 5th grade. My dad was the general manager of United Telephone, if anybody remembers that. So, like she said, I'm Sue Dinsdale. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an activist, and I'm pissed off. You know, remember the Clinton era slogan, "It's the economy, stupid"? That has never been more relevant than what we're experiencing right now. Our governor, president, and every single one of Iowans' Republican-controlled legislature and Congress seem hell-bent on a race to the bottom. You all have seen the wonderful Iowa welcome signs proclaiming freedom to flourish in Iowa. What the hell? I'm not sure who's flourishing, but it damn certainly isn't everyday Iowans. Sorry, I'm a potty mouth grandma. What we are getting, freedom from having a Department of Education director with experience in public schools or a background in supporting them instead of destroying them. Freedom from providing schools with sufficient financial support while subsidizing private schools. Freedom from giving cities the ability to set property tax levels to sustain their budgets or dedicate tax levies to specific causes. Freedom from access to quality, affordable health care. Freedom from safe drinking water. Freedom from caring about our family, friends, and neighbors. I love that you're doing a food drive here. It is sick that we have to. And I'll tell you, when I go to the grocery store, I set aside an extra $20 to buy all the things that our grinchy governor says people can't get from with their SNAP benefits. So cakes, candy, soft drinks. People deserve a treat, come on. You know, Iowa and our nation's economy is leaving people behind. The president, governor, and every one of Iowa's members of Congress vote to prioritize tax cuts for the wealthy. And it's contributed not just to our nation's tepid economy, but to our state's failure to rise to the moment. Our response to high and rising cancer rates is inadequate. Schools across the state are cutting programs or closing. Rural hospitals and clinics are cutting services and they're closing as well. Too often we're afraid to swim in or safely drink our water. And adding insult to injury, for the last decade, lawmakers in Congress in Des Moines have been promoting this trickle-down model of growth. You know, if we cut taxes for the wealthiest among us, it'll trickle down to the rest. How's that working out for you? No.
Didn't work in the 80s either.
No, it's never worked. Throw in a president who desperately wants to be a king, who says our economy is booming, that he single-handedly brought down grocery and gas prices, that our income is rising, investment is soaring, and inflation has been defeated. We say bullshit. What we have is an unsanctioned war in Iran, tariffs, a cruel campaign against immigrants, demeaning our veterans. Did you see them at that dignified transfer? The whole Iowa delegation, all with their arms around each other and big grins on their faces? Despicable. That was despicable. They're shrinking the safety net that helps people facing tough times, illness, injury, or job loss. Working people are feeling the strain. And we can't forget the big bullshit bill signed into law last July and supported by every single one of Iowa's congressional delegation. While families are struggling, literally going hungry, billionaires are enjoying their tax breaks that came at the expense of us. Boo is right. The ACA Enhanced Premium Tax Credit helped over 100,000 Iowans afford health coverage through the ACA marketplace. Without those credits, nearly 50,000 will lose their coverage, and millions more are facing skyrocketing premiums. These aren't just numbers. These are our friends, our families, our neighbors, our seniors. Cuts to Medicaid will affect over 603,000 Iowans, 3 in 5 adults, 1 in 2 persons with disabilities, 2 in 5 children, and 1 in 3 pregnancies. And then there's the cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is so draconian and awful, my gut just wrenches. You know, nearly 70,000 people in this congressional district alone rely on SNAP to feed their families. So is anyone here tired of hearing about waste, fraud, and abuse when it comes to helping our fellow citizens? I think the real waste, fraud, and abuse starts with the president who wants to be a king, a power-grabbing governor, and the elected representatives who enable them. Masked secret police are terrorizing our communities, and a legal catastrophic war is putting us in danger and driving up costs, attacks on our freedom of speech, our civil rights, our freedom to vote, costs pushing families to the brink. Trump wants to rule over us as a tyrant, but this is America, and power belongs to the people, not to wannabe kings or their billionaire cronies. So what are we going to do about it? We're doing it today. We show up. We call and call and call our representatives. We go to town halls. We write letters to the editor. We talk to our families and friends. We tell the stories of Iowans. And most importantly, we vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. I love a grandma with a potty mouth. I happen to be one. Our next speaker is Patrick Bosold. He's been an advocate for world peace, worldwide sustainable living since 1972, following a tour of duty in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service. You're easy. He moved to Fairfield in 1979. He came here for college and participated in the founding of the World Peace Assembly on the MIU campus that same year. He has participated in numerous peace and sustainability groups, including Veterans for Peace and their visits to Iowa's congressional delegation in Washington, D.C. Patrick has worked to promote U.S. policies that emphasize world peace and social, economic, and environmental justice. Patrick?
Okay, thank you, and everybody. How's that? All right, good. Thank you for showing up. As other speakers have said, this is the first thing you have to do. You need to do it every day, and I'm not going to try to say a whole lot more than the other speakers have done because they've done a good job. Thank you. Since the last time we did this country has invaded and kidnapped a sovereign nation's head of state and has them in prison in New York City. And we have waged another war of choice against Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, this has got to stop. Veterans for Peace is composed of people who've seen it, who know what it really means to wage war. I can assure you, this is not something we want to keep doing. I know you know that, but this is a real focus for this organization. They welcome support not only from veterans, from people who want to support the cause. Please remember this, they're online, they're a great group. Consider them as a reliable source of information on U.S. foreign and foreign military policy. They will direct you when it's time to make a phone call or a visit to a town hall, write a letter to say, don't do this. The best kind of revolution is the one that happens without a shot being fired. In this country, we still have that opportunity through voting. What I want to encourage everyone to do is, if you're not registered, get registered. There's a table right over there. Thank you very much to our wonderful volunteers. 30 to 45 days before an election, check in with the auditor's office if you're here or wherever you're from. Check in with the authorities that run elections and say, I'm calling to register, I'm calling to verify my registration. Here's why. Holly Moore, there's a name that you might find in more than one state. Hooray for Holly Moore. Let's make sure, and Holly has to make sure that when she shows up to vote, she can actually vote. You've probably heard about voter purging. This is how Florida was taken by the Republicans in 2001, and the Republicans said, hey, this really works. They've been doing it ever since. Now they're trying to make it national with the SAVE Act. Don't let them do it! So that's one thing to oppose every single day from Monday on forward. Just keep after them. Keep after all of our elected officials at the federal level. I know it seems hopeless. Trust me, Miller Meeks, Ernst, and Grassley, boy, the letters you get back, if you get anything at all, when you bring stuff like this up, is, well, we have to prevent electoral fraud. Oh, really? I mean, it's ridiculously, vanishingly small in this country. They know that. This is not about ensuring the integrity of elections. This is about making sure that people they don't like can't vote. Don't let them get away with it. So, but here's the thing. Voting is a right in this country, but you have to claim it. This is what it means to check in 30 to 45 days before an election and say, I'm calling to ensure that I am registered properly. And if they say, oh, Holly Moore, well, there's another Holly Moore in Michigan and another one in Nevada, so we kicked all three of you off the polls. So you have to come back in here, prove residency, and then you can re-register. Millions of people got disenfranchised by these tactics over the years. Please don't let it happen to you. Make that phone call. Yeah, and I wanted, the question that always comes from rallies like these is, so what's next? I want to recommend a couple of organizations to you that I belong to and I use, so that they're paying attention in Washington, D.C. and Des Moines. I can count on them to send me action alerts when it's really time to oppose or to favor a piece of legislation or some administrative action that will make our lives better. The first one is Veterans for Peace. You can support them if you are not a veteran, and they're a real good group. Public Citizen has 32 lawsuits in process against the Trump administration. They were founded by Ralph Nader back in the 60s, a very good group. I encourage you to support. For $35 a year, you can join an organization like that. You're on their email list. They will let you know when it's time to start raising hell with Congress, and you want to know those things. And they're there in real time, and they're there for all of us. Public Citizen is good. Project on Government Oversight. Please make a note of that as well. They've been watchdogging the Pentagon forever. And they'll let you know when it's time to call your representatives and say, no, we're not going to give another $200 billion of our money to the Pentagon to wage a war in Iran that should never have started in the first place. Project on Government Oversight, POGO for short. Very simple lookup, and you'll be glad that you sent them a little money and got on their email or other contact list. They're very good. So the reason I'm mentioning those organizations, let me just give you a couple of others. Oh man, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. They have a branch in Des Moines and they're wonderful. So that's another group to support. Again, for a modest amount of money, you can become an annual member, and they'll let you know when it's time to act. That's what we all need. That's what I need. Listen, in closing, I cannot thank all of you enough just for showing up. We need to keep doing this every day, just, even a little bit of time every day, so that we're staying on top of the process. As I said at the beginning, the best revolution is the one that you conduct successfully without a shot being fired. Let's remember that this is our country. We don't want to keep waging wars against countries that are not a threat to us, no matter what the Republican delegation from Iowa says. Let's not let them get away with this anymore. Thank you for coming today and for taking the time to hear me out. One more thing, we had a little incident here at the beginning of our gathering, and I want to thank the peacekeepers who were here to look after us, and I also want to thank the Fairfield Police Department for showing up and for making sure that it didn't get out of hand. My thanks to the Fairfield Police Department.
It's going to be Casey. We've had some great speakers today, and Casey, our MC's done a great job. I want to tell you a little bit about her, and then she's just going to give us a short final call to action. Casey Conrad lives in Mount Pleasant. She's a community leader, an entrepreneur, and an advocate for compassionate, transparent leadership. A lifelong champion of service, Casey has spent decades empowering others through her work as a wellness educator, life coach, and the founder of Surviving Womanhood, a global initiative helping women navigate transition and rediscover purpose. A former AIDS hospice volunteer and the creator of the Reaching Out with Reiki project, Casey brings heart-centered centered experience to every role she serves, and you've seen that in action. Please welcome Casey back to the microphone. Thank you.
Hello. I haven't seen you for so long. Did you miss me? So, this has been a wonderful day. Again, let's show our love to the speakers. Let's do better than that. Let's show our love to the peacekeepers. Volunteers. The Fairfield Police Department. Jefferson County Indivisible. Also, I want to pick up on something that Mike Heaton said earlier. We can all be pissed off about a lot of things today. But I want you to take a look around you. There are 500 things you can be grateful for. And then look in the mirror and be grateful some more. Now, in a moment, we're going to march. We're going to line up right here, yeah? Starting right here, okay? Because throughout history, when ordinary people, just like us, wanted to be heard, wanted to be seen, they didn't just talk. They showed up, they stood together, and they marched. Thank you. Not because it was comfortable, but because it was necessary. Every step we take today sends a message. We are paying attention. We are engaged. We will not be pushed to the sidelines of our own democracy. Because progress has never belonged to the passive. It has always belonged to the participants. We are all participants. You are here today. You are participating in the progress and the process, and you should be proud of yourselves. People who are willing to show up, speak up, willing to step forward when it would be easier to stay still. That's all of you. That's what we're doing today. Today is a step forward. Not in anger, not in division, but in determination. Determination to stay engaged. Determination to stay visible. Determination to protect what generations before us, that includes me and a whole bunch of people out here who've done this before a few decades ago, right? Worked so hard to build. Because democracy is not maintained by comfort. It is maintained by participation. And today, participation looks just like this. Neighbors walking together. Courage in motion. People refusing to give up on their community. So when we begin to march, walk with intention. Walk knowing your presence matters. Walk knowing your voice matters. Walk knowing movements are built exactly like this. One step at a time. Because change rarely begins with a big, huge, dramatic happening. It begins when ordinary people, just like us, will not sit down. So today, we move forward together, peaceful, determined. And before we begin, I want to hear you. If you believe your voice matters, let me hear you. No more kings. If you believe democracy matters, let me hear you. No more kings. And if you believe the future belongs to those who show up, let me hear you. No more kings. Let's march.